All right. Today we're going to learn. We're going to start. It's going to probably take us a few days to learn this mitzvah of Toichacha. It says in Torah, Parshas Kedoshim, "V'lo sisna sochicha bilbavecha, oicheach tochiach es amisecha, rebuking, v'lo sisna olav chet." So there's a mitzvah of Toichacha. However, this mitzvah is a little bit complicated because on one hand we see it says Shem shel mitzvah loymar dovar anishma. The same thing you have to say something people are going to hear. Kach mitzvah shel loymar dovar shel nishma. So, you know they're not going to listen to you. Don't say it. Then from another hand, the Gemara says ochiach tochiach. Why it says twice? Ochiach tochiach. Afilu mea pa'amim ad kedei hakol. Till he's going to beat you up. Till then you have to tell him over and over. So how to do it? If I told him 90 times he didn't listen to me, so obviously dovar shel nishma. So how I'm gonna? There's a contradiction of it. Okay, but I'm not going to do this today. Maybe that we're going to cover tomorrow. What I want to say today, though, there is for sure, obviously, you could do toichecha. Let's say there is children in such an age they listen to you still. Some age they don't listen to you already. If they listen to you, there's a mitzvah of toichecha. Or somebody in your community that you have influence over there, and you could say toichecha and you don't do it. So there is a mitzvah that you missed. You were over and you could have an influence. For sure, when you have an influence, definitely, if you cannot say I'm washing my hands, it's not my problem. So I want to bring on this two inyanim. One is the Gemara in Shabbos, Daf Nun Hey. Yeah, the Gemara brings over there that how severe is inyan when we don't do toichacha when we could do it. Okay, there's a questionable when you cannot do it, maybe that's become a shaila. But when you could do it and you don't do it, that's a big aver. The Gemara says like this. Here's the lashon of the Gemara. The Omar Oche Barab Domar Rab Oche Barab Chanina. Me'olam lo yotzav mida tovim p'nei Kadosh Baruch Hu v'chazar bo l'ro. If Hashem promised something good, He never changes his mind. If He promised, He's going to do it no matter what. Chutz. One time, as exception to the rule, there was one time Hashem changed his mind. Mitoiva l'roi, promised something good and he didn't do it. And the Gemara brings this mice has to do with the toichach. The Gemara like this: Dichsiv, Ayom Hashem Elav. It's supposed to be in Yecheskel. Avoir b'sech ha'ir b'sech Yerushalayim v'isvisa tiv al mitzvahs ha'anoshim ha'ne'enochim v'ha'ne'enokim al kol ha'tevas ha'nasas b'soicha. We're going back. The pasuk in Yecheskel, Hashem told Malach Gabriel, go into Yerushalayim and you make a mark on the forehead of the people and all the bad things they did. So the Gemara says, "Omar Lakish Baruch Gabriel, Lech urushem al mitzchan shel tzadikim, tov shel dio," meaning oil stuff made out of ink on the forehead of the tzadikim. So lo yishlu boy maloche chabola. This way they have a sign. The malach chabola comes to kill everybody over there. You see the top of the forehead of the tzaddik, he won't touch him because it's a protection sign of Hashem. And then he says, Val mitzcham shel reshoyim. The reshoyim also going to have a top, but not some ink. The oishel dam made out of blood. Kadei sheyishlu to by malocha chabola. Hashem wants to make easy for them to navigate. You see on the forehead the top of blood, kill him. You see a top of dio of ink, don't touch him. He's a tzaddik. There's okay. Hashem gave a command to Malach Gabriel that something good. What's good was about this? The tzaddikim will be saved because they have a sign of top made out of ink in their forehead, and Malach chabola won't touch them. So it says, Omra Midas and Ifnei Kadosh Baruch Hu, before Gabriel went on this mission to do this, the command of Hashem, comes Midas Adin, comes the prosecutors over there, and they told Rebbeinu Shel Olam, Ma nishtanu elo me'elu. What's the discrimination over here? Those going to live, those going to die. What is discrimination? Omar Lo, Alolu Tzadikim Gemurim V'alo Rishon. Hashem told the Midas Adin, the reason I discriminate because those people are tzaddikim gemurim. They didn't do anything wrong. They don't deserve to die. And those people deserve to die because they're showing gemurim. It says in the pasuk all the description of what they did over there in that time in Yerushalayim, Toyevas, all kind of abominations. So the Midas Adin continued to argue with Hashem. The Midas Adin saying to Hashem, they had an obligation, the tzaddikim, to rebuke the Rishoyim, and they didn't do that. So, Mimela, if you don't rebuke somebody, here's the bad news, you own it. If somebody's doing something wrong and you're able to rebuke it, again, when you're able, when it is, we'll talk about it tomorrow, but when you're able for sure to rebuke it, you say, I don't want to get involved, it's not my business, you own it like you did it. So according to this Midas Adin saying to the Baruch Hu, the tzaddikim, they're like Rishoyim, because they could have rebuked them, and they didn't, so they own everything that the Rishoyim did. Omar lo, Hashem answered the Midas Adin. There's an argument going on. Go live your duel of Funai. I know Hashem says. I know they're going to rebuke them. They wouldn't listen to them anyway. So the mail, that's what the Gemara says. Hashem should have mitzvah lemar dovaran nishma. Something you have to say something people are going to hear. Kach mitzvah lemar dovar shma nishma. You don't have to say something they're not going to hear. So that's why they didn't rebuke. Hashem says, I know they're not going to accept it. So the Midas Adin continue to argue. It says, Amar Alafan Rebbeinu Shel Olam. Im lefanecha golui, lohi migolui. You know it. How did they know it? Did they know what's going on in the mind of those Rishoyim? Maybe they would try. Maybe they would listen to them. You know it because you HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yodei Machshavos. They're not Yodei Machshavos. So how come they didn't rebuke them? V'hainu dichsiv. The argument was over. The prosecutor, they won the argument. V'hainu dichsiv, and in Yecheskel, it says Perek Tes in Yecheskel. Zoken bochur u'besulo taf v'noshim tahargu lamashchis v'al kol ish asher olav atav. Hashem says, the Midas, they didn't write, they didn't rebuke, the Gezerah was on Malach Gabriel to kill everybody. And you're going to start from the tzaddikim. The Midas Tzaddikim going to start punishing tzaddikim first. So Hashem says, you're going to start from the Kedoshim, from the tzaddikim, the people that did the Torah Aleph V'Atov, they did everything, but they got punished. And why? Because they didn't rebuke. So you see from here how great is the mitzvah of rebuke when you can. That's for sure. When there's so much scenarios, you know for sure you could do it. That's little children, let's say, they listen to you still, or people that you have influence over. You could say something, obviously, in a nice way. Nobody's saying you have to be nasty when you rebuke, and you don't do that. He says it's not my business. You own the Aveir. All of a sudden, somebody tells you, you're Mechal Shabbat V'Resha. I'm Mechal Shabbat V'Resha. I never did no. You saw somebody, you could have talked to him, you could have explained him, and you didn't do it. You own it. And you saw somebody doing something wrong, something else wrong. And when you could have said something, you didn't say anything. He says, it's not my business. Hashem says, you own it, you will punish like the Rasha. Okay, so that's one that could have, when you can, for sure, when you can, to rebuke in a nice way, and you say, it's not my business, you own the Avera. That's one thing of Teichachot. Then I want to say another thing very, very important. One of the reasons that a lot of times we don't see the Teichachot, even when you can, there is, I'm going to tell you about a clipper, a new clipper, a big clipper, that clipper called Hasidah. I'm no Mekubal, and I'm not expert on clippers, but this clipper, it says in Torah, and I'm going to bring you a proof for it. A clipper is like we refer to the non-pure powers as a clipper. This clipper is a shell over the fruit. The fruit is the kedusha. What's surrounding it? That's a clipper. So there's a clipper by the name Chasida, as I said. It says by the birds, which is we're not allowed to eat. It says Vesa Chasida or Anof or Lamina. It's non-kosher bird. We're not allowed to eat it. Now, if you look at the name, it's such a beautiful name, Chasida, Chesed. If she's not a kosher bird, where did she get the honor? Whether the schus she has to have this name Chasida? So the Gemara in Chulin says, Amar Rabbi Yehuda Chasida zu Dayo Levana. It's a white bird. Dayo. There's another name of we're reading about the non-kosher birds. V'lamon nikra shmu Chasida. Why they call it Chasida? The Gemara asked this. It's a beautiful name, and it's not kosher bird. Where did she get such a beautiful name? She'oisa chesed im chaveroseya. She does want the good quality that bird has. It helps its friends. Meaning, if that bird's going to eat, it's not going to eat by itself. It's going to give it to the friend, going to share with the friend, going to call them to show where there's some food over here. She does chesed im chaveroseya. So you think about it. So then the question's still on. If this is such a good bird, the whole idea we don't eat the non-kosher animal bird because they have good bad teva they could inherit to us. So we want to eat only the kosher ones. We're able to elevate them. We don't want to fall down to them. If it's such a good quality, she does chesed im chaveroseya. What's wrong with that bird and why it's not kosher? It's a bal chesed, bal aschay. We want to have that teva of chesed. The answer is, it's not despite the chesed she does, she's not a kosher. And because the chesed she does, it's not kosher. What's wrong with that chesed? So I'll tell you, that's the klippa. The klippa is, today, we know, we have such a thing called, this is anash, this is our movement, it's our yeshiva, our shul, and b'derech klal, when somebody from our community, whatever is the community, our anash, doing something wrong, a lot of times we protect them. Oh, it's ours, cannot be wrong. They will bring all the lamdas, become all lamdonim, all yodim kalatora kula, will bring proofs why it's right. Why what he does, it's right. Some to a certain point, obviously. Sometimes we also condemn it. But a lot of times, and the Haraya from this week's parsha, Pinchas ben Elazar killed the head of Shevet Shimon, and says, and Chazal telling us the whole 24,000 Talmidim of this leader and Hasidim of this leader, from Bnei Shimon, they were protecting him. They wanted to kill Pinchas ben Elazar. They said our Rosh Yeshiva, our leader, our rabbi, our Rebbe, Kvod Kedushas Admor Shlita, our Rebbe, he's right what he does. And they were all the lamdas. If Moshe got Tzipoira, all the lamdas in the world, they brought to say he was right. So this is the problem of the Hasidah. The Hasidah is when by you, your friends are always right. When by you, my community is right, my rabbi is right, my kids are right, and everything was mine is all right. This is not a kosher. That's a big klippa, and this is the problem of the toichecha. You dafke the toichecha don't have to go that one community should rebuke the other community. Within your own community, plenty to rebuke, and that's what we should be busy rebuking our own community. And if something wrong, call it out the way it is. Don't be a choset chasida. Oh, mine is right. That's a big klippa, because, and that's what prevents the wolf from growing. Because toichecha, it's a place to grow. You tell me I did something wrong. Okay, tomorrow I'll do better. I won't do the mistake. I'll grow through this, through knowing my mistake. But if I don't know my mistakes, if everything I do or my community do, it's all right. That's what the Shimon wanted to say. It's right. Well, our Rebbe did it. It's perfectly kosher. Then this is midas adin. That's then your own davar. So see from here how important it is. At least in the places where you could do it, definitely do it. Shkoyach.